What's up, you guys? What's up? You might see this is something. I know most of you guys will be thinking, what is this? But this is something called a VTube model, and I wanted to use a model because it's easier when I'm sharing a new screen rather than seeing my face. You'll see this avatar, and it'll give you like the basic expressions of me, I guess, but with like a more sustained. Look at my hair. Oh my god. Look at this. It's just a 2D model. This is gonna be my avatar, an anime avatar. Anyway, I actually made the hair and the eyes. I actually colored it. Looks nice, right? But anyway, let's just go and do the thing. Whiteboard done with this done. Mama, 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 mama. Mm, 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 It's kind of weird that I'm not aligned. Oh my god. Wow, 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 wow. Wow, 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 wow. Wow, wow, wow. Wow, 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 wow. I'm just setting my pen up. You guys can't see the setting. Interesting. So we have to understand. Okay. Okay. Cool, 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 cool. You have to understand. Okay, let's understand. Actually, our main goal here is that if uh, if if suffering arises. Oh my god. Okay. Uh oh. Uh oh. Nani? How do I? My god. What? What? Okay. Cool. 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 Right. Go. So we have to first understand suffering. And wait, you actually can't see this? Oh my god. This live stream is like a fail. Never mind. I'll just use Photoshop. Photo. Actually, I think I can figure out this stream. What suffering is and the desire, but something about Buddhism just doesn't line up. Like, life is suffering. I'm like, really? 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 Is life really suffering? Really? Come on, dude. Come on now. Really? But he also says, oh, to like get out of suffering, you need to like, I don't know. I think that's the worst part. I feel life is suffering. I don't think so, Mister. Is life all suffering? Yes. And the root cause of it is desire. That's the second truth. But life is not suffering if you let go of the desire. Really? Uh, mm, 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 psh, what? Oh my god, why is it so hard for me to just add for a show? Mm. Oh my god. Mm, my god. My god, my god. Wow, 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 wow. Zabidi-bidi-doo, wow. Wadidi-didi-doo, wow. Wadidi-didi-doo, wow, 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 wow. Wow, 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 wow. Wow, 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 wow. You know the hardness. It's too hard, man. This brush. Why? My God. I should have planned this before. Wow, wow, wow. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Uh-oh. La 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 la. La la la. La la la. La 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 la. La 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 la. Why am I live and doing this? What? How do I invert this? Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Oh my god, dude. Okay. Okay. Okay, guys. So we are gonna start this finally. So, so the problem statement is this. So, why is my screen blurry? Am I zoomed in too much? Okay, whatever. Problems. See, this is why I'm using a avatar. Now imagine like my face here. Problem statement is this. There is suffering arises. So suffering is arising. The question is, how can you solve this? But more than how, I think why is the real question, right? I think for why, I think for why, the reason for me being, we all have our uh, excitement, or AKA dreams. That's the American dream, right? You have a certain dream. Now, the problem is, anytime you try to follow the dream, you encounter resistance. Now, what this resistance does is it kind of like mm, seduces you into choosing an option that you later regret. So, and if you if you go and see, okay, what's the root cause of all this, then it's probably, they say, is desire. Desire root cause is what they say. Okay. Now, I think the real question here is, hmm, I think the real question here is, how can you solve this problem? And the motivation being, there is, of course, again, a desire that we want to choose rather than having a desire chosen for us. So I think, we can summarize this. Can I just make a, can I just make, can I just, um, do I have to keep creating new slides? Can I just duplicate? Let me just quickly Google how to invert colors. Mm, okay, okay. Hmm. Okay. So I can think we can write. We can start again. So, wha- half of this live stream is just me trying to like figure this stuff out. No, I quit. I quit Photoshop by mistake, guys. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna, you know what? I'll figure this out. How? Uh, Yum 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 yum. Mm. How to have pages like thing in uh, wow 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 wow. To have multiple uh, my god, dude. So let's see. So ugly. Ew. Disgusting. Okay, we are gonna do the Photoshop thing. The Photoshop thing looks so pretty. What I'm thinking right now is the how and the why. Naniyo korewa. Yes. Okay. Okay. Um, okay. I have an idea. So what I'm gonna do is Wanna take screenshot? Hmm. 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 Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Hmm. All right. All right. So let's start from the beginning. You have problem statement. It's fine. So you have problem statement. So the statement being, let me just adjust my audio so that you guys can't hear any noise. Okay. Okay, there's two problem statement. Problem statement is suffering. Now there are two avenues. Why? Why is suffering bad? Or why is it good? And two is like how? So I think why suffering is, I think we all have a desire that we consciously choose. So we have our desire. However, I think the body also has a desire, you know? And I think if we try to assert our desire and the body also has a desire that's in the opposite direction, then this tension is creating suffering. Okay. So I think the biggest problem here is we all have a dream. However, when we try to pursue that dream, there are many things that comes to stop us, like fear, resistance, uh, emotion, fear being the big one, right? So this is why suffering is bad. I think there's like grace in suffering, but I think in this is the reason why we are trying to like figure out a way to let go of the suffering so that our, let's see here, so end outcome here is uh, things should feel effortless, this is the end outcome I feel. This is the end outcome I feel, things should like become effortless. So now so how is it stopping you? I guess you have the sensation, you have the belief, you have the uh, feelings, and then you have the thoughts. So drowned in thoughts, I was thinking, wait, what was the other one again? Oh, of course, thoughts. I'm of course thinking, So here's the thing, and it is all to understand and create mechanics and understanding the mechanics of suffering. So, so let's understand how is this belief working. So interesting. So let me just take a screenshot of this. Boom. Like that. Okay. Wipe this down. I think The biggest question that we're trying to understand is, mm, biggest question I'm trying to understand is, how is yo, what's up, IDK? I'm trying to like understand beliefs. So I realized it. I'm just have to like put things together. But once we did put that things together, voila, boom. Suffering, bye bye. You know. So how is be I'm actually just processing the entire mechanics of flow before I actually make the next video. So how is belief um you know what, fuck it. How is belief fucking with you? Okay. Okay. So now we have to understand what is belief. Now I think what belief really feels like, it is like uh, an unconscious algorithm. So belief feels like an unconscious algorithm. For example, if it almost feels like a cooking recipe, an unconscious cooking recipe, unconscious cooking recipe. So it has like a certain outcome that it desires, and to achieve that outcome it has certain steps. Step 1, step 2, do this. Step 3, do this. Step 4, do this. Something like that. Step 5, do this, like that. And then you get the end result, which is the outcome. However, what's tricky about this belief is that every belief also seems to have a self-protecting mechanism, or it's like a self-contained box within which the belief is also staring. So anytime you try to like address this box, or you try to like go against the unconscious belief, it is causing a lot of resistance, and it's causing a lot of suffering. Suffering. Now the question is, I think the question really is here, how can we modify this algorithm so that things feel effortless? My end goal is, you're achieving, how do I put it, you are following your dreams effortlessly. You're following your excitement effortlessly. Like, I had anxiety about starting YouTube channel, but now I don't. So something about the beliefs I was believing changed, and this seems to be the thing. I think the let me just screenshot this. I think the biggest thing I'm trying to like understand here is, I feel, oh, I actually have the best analogy. So, beautiful analogy actually. Oh, we just get this. Boom, 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 boom. Come on. Yep. Actually, it's like a house. Damn, this is the worst house ever. Okay. I think belief is like, the blueprint of the house, and thoughts are like the bricks. Hmm. I think emotion are more like bricks. Thoughts are like cement. Maybe thoughts are like bricks, and emotion is like the cement that holds the brick. So the problem here is, with most self-help, there are like ways to affect the thoughts, there are ways to affect the emotions. However, if you don't change the blueprint of the house, no matter how you're gonna like no matter what thoughts you have, is gonna build a house which is similar to this. Of course, the quality might be different, you know, but the house is similar to this. I think that is the biggest problem I'm facing here. Why should I try to, like like imagine this, if I wanted Eiffel Tower, right? No matter how much I change this, no matter how much I change the thoughts or the emotions, and no matter how much I like morph this into make it kind of look like Eiffel Tower, it will never quite look like Eiffel Tower. Also, it's a very stressful process because you're trying to follow a blueprint which is not Eiffel Tower, you know. That is the real problem here. And I think the biggest question is, how can you change the blueprint? I actually have a little bit of idea. I have a idea. So let's go. Actually, I can't see the comments. Uh, cool, cool, cool. All right. So let's understand beliefs. I have to think it's very interesting. I find this stuff really fascinating. Uh oh. Uh oh. Yep. Cool, 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 cool. So understanding the blueprint, I think, is really the key. It's crazy. Very interesting. Fascinating. The picture that comes into my head, it's almost like the thoughts and the emotions carry out the building of the house, and the belief being the blueprint. So if too thick, too thick. So if too small, too small, boom. If if belief is the blueprint and thoughts and feelings just carry out the blueprint, okay, I think you have to understand the mechanism of the blueprint. So every blueprint has a certain outcome, and if you stray away from this outcome, and if you desire a different outcome consciously, you and if there's like a dissonance between this, you have suffering, right? For example, if I wanted to make this video, but I really felt like watching the movie or something, so my mind wants something, and my soul wants another thing, and there's like a complete dissonance between both of the outcomes. Like this wants one thing, this wants other thing. So this tension is creating is suffering. So if I either did this, if I just followed the outcome that my body's pulling me to, I wouldn't be suffering in the first place. But the thing is, if you live like this, hmm, the problem is the blueprint itself. You have to understand the purpose of the blueprint. Like, what is belief trying to achieve? What is belief trying to achieve? I think this is where survival comes, Survive. I think the agenda of any belief is to make sure your chances of surviving in this moment is highest. And there are two keywords there, which is in this moment. Uh, so the chances of surviving in this moment should be the highest. Okay. Now, what does that mean exactly? Very interesting. Uh oh. Okay, so if belief is saying my chances of survival now must be highest. Okay, okay, okay. I got you. I got you. I got you. Okay, cool, 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 cool. Damn. Okay. So if belief's agenda is survival in this moment, so let's say B, my B, you want to survive, you want to survive now, and your probability of survival should be the highest. Now, the real question is what belief is the blueprint, is its definition. Its definition of survival. I think this is the real thing. I think belief is a definition of what you believe, my God, of what you believe to be true in terms of survival. So any belief you have is like a definition of how you should operate in this world that subconsciously you want to survive. Now, what are the parameters here that I'm dealing with? Let's see. So you have the parameters. So the parameters here would be increasing pleasure, PLEA, increasing pleasure in this moment, and decreasing pain. Basically, run, run, run towards pleasure and run away from pain. Okay, okay, cool. This is progress. This is progress. So the agenda here is how to. Interesting. So, so if every belief is a definition, whose whose agenda is to increase your survival. But the real question is, I think logically, I think the biggest dissonance that's really coming is logically we know. I think the biggest dissonance that is really coming is that I think logically we know what would increase our survival. However, the body itself is like, nah, dude. This is what I think you should do to survive. And which is interesting. I think there are two kinds of survival now, which is interesting. If I think they should make a distinction. Two kinds of survival. Mm, let's say conscious survival and say unconscious survival. I think conscious survival is like stuff that is like more higher order in the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, somewhere around here, which is like getting a good job or following your dreams or becoming fit or I don't know, running maybe every day. I think all of that would be a higher order conscious survival, I would say, because you are consciously like choosing, you know what, I want to have a better job, you know what, I want to have a better desire. Okay, so unconscious survival would be like food, right, shelter, water, some sort of high in this moment. Okay, so the body's definition, so the body's belief in terms of food is like eat as much as you can now because later you might not get food. So just gobble up now. Shelter, I think, if a survival of the shelter is certain, I'm sure people would like have fear and then then that conscious need would become unconscious. I think the strategy that I see most often in most self-help community is, so let's say they want a job and they kind of try to like make this an unconscious survival need, like, oh my god, if I don't get job, then the food, I might not get food or people are gonna die or something like that. Gary Vee does that. Of course, that's a way to motivate yourself, to do it, but I don't want to motivate myself in such like a fear-based panicky way, because it takes too much energy. It doesn't put you in a very creative state, right? And also, I don't think you should anybody should be suffering trying to like live their dreams, but we are. So what is stopping us is really, there are two kinds of survival. And I think this is where the dissonance comes. So if you're consciously want to so if your conscious definition of what survival is, you look around and think, oh, you know what, I need to get into MIT. This is what I think to survival is. But the unconscious survival is more like, I need to eat as much as food I can now, as I need to be safe as much as I can now. I need to like watch YouTube videos and feel that pleasure now. You know, the maximum amount of pleasure that I can get, I should get now. Okay, cool. I think that is like the condition or the criteria that belief needs, so that it can satisfy that. Interesting. I think I'm figuring it out now. Interesting. I think belief is like an algorithm, you know, where it has to like satisfy certain conditions, and once the condition is like met, boom, you can like you can. Oh, that's it. Interesting. Interesting. So once the condition is met, you can replace the belief. Interesting. So, okay. So the conditions that beliefs need. So to create your own belief, so to create your own blueprint, so to create your own belief, I think there are two conditions that you need to satisfy with the definitions of how you're defining the situation. So belief is a definition. My God. Def- so belief is a definition. The real question is, how are we defining the definition? That makes sense. Okay. The definition needs to satisfy two criteria. Its pleasure needs to be high. Let me put it, perceived pleasure. Perceived perceived pleasure needs to be high, and perceived fear needs to be low. Interesting. Okay. Guys, we are getting somewhere. Okay, so to create your own belief, the criteria you need to create is, so okay, so every, oh, okay. Makes sense. Okay. So let's say I create a new belief. Say let's call this belief P. I creating this. So no matter how you define the situation, let's say you just created a random definition. Oh, I look at this situation like this. So it has like a pleasure index, and it has like a pain index. And I think it like gets like a certain score. Let's say the pleasure score is like 100, and the fears pain score is like 50. Okay, so this is the consciously belief A. But subconsciously, of course, the beliefs are running. Let's say this belief A, which has like a pleasure index. I need to like, let's say it has a pleasure index of, this is like arbitrary thing, arbitrary, right? Let's say it has a pleasure index of 500 units, and the pain index of and the pain index of, let's say, 10 units. Interesting. Now the question that's coming up in my mind is this pleasure units and pain units calculated in this moment, or it is calculated based on the delayed gratification units? So you guys get me. So I think the question that I'm trying to answer right now is, so let's say, oh, I must study for exams now. Let's say I have to study for my exams 2 weeks before. Of course, me getting high marks, the let's say the pleasure is 1,000 units. High marks, let's say the pleasure is 1,000 units. Okay. But when you're defining the belief, saying that, oh, I should read now, I don't know, 4 weeks before the exam so that I can get marks which will like have 1,000 units of pleasure. But the question is, when you're going to read for the exam, let's say English exam. So let's say when you're going to read for the English exam, so the pleasure units won't be 1,000, right? It would be something like 50. Interesting. Interesting. So I think the picture that's coming in my mind is, I think there's like a battle royale, you know? Mm, okay. So so every mm, so okay, so every belief has like a so every belief is a definition, and the definition has two parameters that it kind of like checks. Okay, so okay, so there are, so every belief is a definition is first point. Two, I think there's like a battle royal of beliefs that's fighting for this moment. Battle battle royal of beliefs. Okay, so let's say you have 10 beliefs: A, B, C, E, F. Okay, so out of, so every moment, let's say a set of seven beliefs try to like compete to see, okay, which belief would I act now. Let's say the winner was A would be executed and I would perform that particular action. Okay, so now, so I think the third thing is, on what basis is the beliefs winning. So let's say there are eight beliefs that are competing, and this E is the one that is our conscious. Let's say E is the one that is our conscious belief. Then, hmm, hmm. So what are the parameters? So what are the parameters? Pleasure index, pain index. So if the pleasure is high, pain is low, of course A would win. Okay. Now, if the pleasure is high but the fear is higher, then this option gets eliminated. No, if the pleasure is high, the fear is highest, then the B would get chosen, is it? I actually have to calculate this. Let's see. Hmm, interesting. Okay. So let's say there is a belief A. Okay. There's belief B. belief C. Okay. Let's say belief A is I must study now. Okay. Belief B is I must eat now. Belief C is I have to watch YouTube now. Interesting. My god, my head is hurting. So this is pleasure, pain. This pleasure index, pain index, pleasure index, pain index. So if pleasure index, so study now, pleasure index, let's say, okay, let's say put everything out of 100. Okay. So if everything is out of 100, this will be what? 5, pain, 0. This is like a week before, this is like 4 weeks before actual exam. Okay. Eat now, pleasure is 40, pain is again 0. There is no pull, right? YouTube now, pleasure is 70, pain index 0. So there is no effort happening when you're watching 0 YouTube, right? So in this case, we would be watching YouTube. So in this battle royale, we would be watching YouTube. Let's say a week before exam, we have A. Let's say a week before exam, we have A, B, C. Tata, tata. A, the pleasure would be still 5. The fear would be 80, let's say. So like one day before exam. One day before exam. Eating now would the pleasure would be 40. I think fear index would have 2 fear. I think index would have like what happens if you don't do this kind of is a fear index. The fear of oh my god, if I don't do this, then if I don't do this, then that's a pain. This is a thing. And let's say 80, fear index is 5. Oh my god, if I did this, interesting. So A will have pain index that if I didn't do this, this will be pain index of if I did do this. So I think there needs to be two components for fear index. Interesting. Interesting. There needs to be 5 for pleasure. If I did do this, pain index. If I didn't do this, pain index would come. So if I did do this, will be like 40, 30. Interesting. But now it's getting too complicated, I feel. Okay, no problem. Not that complicated. Mm. So let's say you're competing between belief A, belief B, belief C, and the pleasure index of belief A is 5, and belief A being oh my god, I have to study for my exam tomorrow. If I did do this, oh, so it won't be like pain index. So there'll be like 4 parameters itself. Interesting. So belief would have like a four parameters, is it? Is that possible? Nani? Okay, okay. So to the quest here is how can you how can you create a belief that will actually stick? And the question is why is it not sticking? I think that is really the bigger question. So let's say you have three belief. Let's say A, which is exam tomorrow. B, so want to eat McD now. Okay. C, I want to watch YouTube now. All right. Now, before I thought there was pain index, pleasure index, but now I think there is like pain index, which is the heart, right? So boom, boom, boom. Talk with boom. There you go. And this is pain index, and this is if I did do it, and if I didn't do it, did not. This is getting mathematical. Okay. So the same thing. So let me draw the box. Let me draw the other box. Okay, okay, Prem. So if I did do this, would I get pleasure? If I did, let me think. Tomorrow is my exam, and if I'm studying now, is there like a pleasure? Am I reading it out of pleasure or am I reading it of fear? I think pleasure index would stay the same, but if I did not do this, the pain index would be like 100. And if I did not, so wait, if I did study for exam tomorrow, the pleasure index would be high, pain index would be low. If I did not study for exam tomorrow, the pleasure index would be low and the pain index would be high. Interesting, interesting. Okay, so if I ate McD now, the pleasure index would be high, but fear index also would be high. McD. Okay, let's say fear index would be like medium, right? Let's say I'm wasting my time, wasting my money, so let's say put 20 out of 100. If I did not eat McD now, pleasure index would drop. Let's say it will be like 10, and fear index would also be, oh, so fear index here being the addiction. So okay, so I've write this down. Fear index, fear index has attachment and aversion, right? Okay, so if I didn't eat McD now, would I feel pain? 50. Let's put it 50. If I watch YouTube now, the pleasure I would get in that moment would, let's say, 100. Okay. But the pain index of watching the YouTube now would be, YouTube does have like a numbing effect. So when I'm watching YouTube, let's say 20. So I won't be feeling that much pain when I'm watching YouTube. However, if I did not watch YouTube, the pain index would be thing, but so let's say this 80. The pain index would be 100. Okay. Now the thing is, out of all these three, the outcome the outcome I already know, which is I'm gonna study for exam tomorrow, and I'm gonna study for exam tomorrow. I'm not gonna watch YouTube, right? So I'm thinking on what should be the criteria of the pain index and the pleasure index, so that I actually watch YouTube. I said, what the fuck am I saying? I actually watch the exam. I actually study for the exam tomorrow rather than watch YouTube now. That's the real question. If anybody is able to understand my chain of thought so far, you know, the goal here being this: I want to study exam now, We want to like consciously create a definition, but we want that definition to be incorporated in our state of being. Okay, but the reality is it does not. No, so if you had like a belief and said, oh, you know what, I wanted to work out every day. When you wake up in the morning, you have like couple of belief going in the background saying, I want to be in the bed now, and I want to run now. Okay, this is like conscious belief, and other one is like unconscious belief. Unconscious belief have, okay, you know what, this is getting complicated. We'll actually do that example. Mm, 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 mm. Damn. I hope you guys are able to follow. Just need, my god, guys, not able to pull out the panel. What? There you go. Okay, okay, okay. All right, all right, all right. So this is like morning. Let me draw a bed. This this is Bob. Okay, sleeping in the bed. Okay, and this is Bob running. Oh my god, I wanted to make a running pose. Damn, this is like an awful stick figure. What? What? Oh my god, dude. Okay, this is good enough. So this is running and this is sleeping. So let's calculate the belief matrix. Okay, this one being the pleasure index, this one being the pain index, this one being the pleasure index, this one being the pain index. So I did not. Okay, okay, okay. So if, okay, I have to think now. Okay, I'm sleeping in the bed. The pleasure index of sleeping in the bed, if I did sleep in the bed, then it would be like 100 peak in that moment. And this belief, interesting, pleasure index would be 0. If I did s- go for running, pain index would be high, right? So let's say 70. If I did not, 0. And the algorithm here that the belief is following, it is trying to like maximize, go towards pleasure, and it wants to go away from pain. Okay, so if I did not do this, pleasure, could pleasure go in like negative? Doesn't even make sense. So if I did not do this, then the pleasure I wouldn't get immediately. So let's say 0. But if I did not do this, and if I had to like get up out of the bed, right, then the pain would be high. Let's say 80. Won't put 100 in that moment. And if I did not do this, the pleasure index would be 80 and the pain index would be 0. Right, right, right. So I'm trying to like max. So the question here is now, how do I calculate the pleasure? Hmm. So obviously this win. So this wins because even because the pain is high, the pleasure is high, and the pain is low. So the pain is high and did not, pleasure is low. The pain is high and the pleasure is low. So this is like -10 and this is like 20. So 20 greater than -10. So this wins. So now we have to like make sure. So the problem statement here is, even though we said, oh, I'm gonna like wake up and start running, you have to like somehow beat this. And this of course won't be 100, it will be like 90, let's say 90. So somehow you need to like make sure that if you did not do it, decrease this, increase this, decrease this, increase this, right? So our belief should be something like, let's say let's say you did made a bet with your roommate and said, you know what, man, if I did not wake up and go for running, I will give you $100. Okay. So now you're increasing the pain here. So the pain now will become 80. And the pleasure would also like decrease to like 20. Because we are trying to like design a belief that would beat this belief. Uh, and if I did is that if I decided that, oh, I'm just gonna like leave my house, and that is the goal of this belief, just leave the house 2 minutes and come back. So now we are increasing the pleasure here to like 40, right? Not that, and you're decreasing that pain by 80, like going 80 to like 30. Now this belief matrix has a better chance competing against this belief matrix. All this anti understanding for what? Need to make this more simple. But I have to like understand the mechanism of why some belief is working and why some belief works and why some belief doesn't. So in this case, it would be like 40, 57, 40, 50, 60, 40, 50, 60, 70. This will be 70. This will be 100. So this will be like 70. So this will be 30. 100 minus 70 is 30. And this would be like 10. So this belief would beat this belief, obviously. Interesting. Interesting. Now the real question is being conscious of all this matrix. So I think interesting. Mm. Mm. We're trying to create a system here, guys, that works. So as a designer of a system, I need to understand what's actually happening behind the scenes and why something's working. Shouldn't work without flaws. Can't have a system that just breaks randomly. Okay, 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 okay. Interesting. Hmm. Designing designing the belief. So I think the number one thing we have to remember is there's a battle royal of belief at every moment. Okay. And the key skill here is to identify the players of this battle royal. Identify the players. Like how many players are there? Because if you don't even know the players, then there is no way you can go to the next step of trying to understand the belief matrix. So the key skill here is of observation. The key skill here is of observation. Interesting. So first step, you observe what are the number of participants there. The second thing to observe is like the belief matrix. Okay. And third thing is to observe all the players of the belief matrix. Okay. And fourth step is to create your own matrix. All right. But you have to make your belief structure so that either you take off the juice, you kind of have to like let go of the pleasures things. So let's say this has pleasure of 100, right? We have two options. Either create a it's interesting. You have two options. Either remove the juice of this pleasure, right? Remove the juice out of it so that it becomes 80 or something through letting go processes that of course you can share, and that stuff I think is easy. But doing it consciously in like a more strategical way, I think is the one thing. And um, and you can just have moderate to high score here. So we have two options: either have make the stuff super painful here, which is like the David Goggins way, or two is you remove the pleasure that this A brings and kind of like uh, this has like a remove the juice out of this A. Then also C will win. So C would win on two cases. Either A becomes less pleasurable the more you do it, or if C is more pleasurable than A, or is more painful when you're not doing it compared to A. So you have two options. Interesting. Hmm. Damn. To that one viewer who's still watching. Crazy that you're still sticking around. All right. But we're trying to understand beliefs here, like like a system that would help anyone overcome any belief. And this is like cutting edge, boy. Cutting edge. It's like cutting edge of understanding the belief structure. Interesting. And I think there are two. I think you know what the energy that you have throughout the day would also affect the belief matrix. So what all affects the belief matrix is the real question. And everything should be able, and everything can be directly be verified through your direct experience. I think is another criteria. So direct experience is a key. Interesting. Now I actually have to like compile a video and make a video that actually makes sense compared to like randomly scribbling here. Hmm. What am I missing? I understand why when I create a belief, it does not work. I understand it now. I'm getting like more in depth knowledge into understanding why, if I created a belief, why that belief is not working. For example, if I say, oh, you know what, I'm gonna like wake up, boom, I don't. Because the pleasure matrix, the fight between the pleasure matrix is like unreal. So interesting. Interesting. And the thing is, we're just fighting the default mechanisms of the belief. Now, how to identify the belief would be the first step, right? So now that we understand how, why something is working and why something is not working, I think the real question is, how do you identify? Hmm. Okay, let's go. How to identify the belief? Once, first thing is by backtracking your actions. By backtracking your actions. So let's say I slept in the morning, and if I look back and I say, oh, I slept. So obviously, in that sense, there's the pleasure matrix of you sleeping in the bed is much better than you wanting to run. So no matter how hard you try to run, unless and until you use like the willpower and where you like feel miserable and like kind of go through the pain and stuff like that, you know, you're not gonna like wake up. Then what else? By observing your thoughts and by observing your feelings before beginning the action and while performing the action. You need to observe in these two areas. Interesting. Uh, Action, belief, thought. What else can you observe? That's it. Oh my god, my brain is like fried after this point. But I think if I just do this. Now the question is, how do I design? There are now two problems now. First problem is to have the skill to identify the belief matrix, right? Second problem is to create a belief matrix that is easily better than the previous one. And the problem here is the fight is between the animal urges as well. You know, crazy. But that I guess I'll try to figure out in another video. But I guys, that's it for this one. I hope you liked it. See you guys in the next one. Bye.